Hello out there, YouTube. First off, I just wanted to apologize for how shitty the videos uploaded. All the 4 or 5 videos I put on there, they were from my Instagram. So I whipped out the GoPro and let's take a look at this off-road RV rig build that we're doing here. So we'll do a walk around the outside here. This is just the front here. So this rig is built on 3-inch C-channel on the base, and then all of the corners are 1x2 11 gauge, and then everything else is either 1x2 14 gauge or it's 1-inch 14 gauge. And then you can see that as we get around there, you'll see where I ran wood studs, just 1x2 wood studs around the metal, so that way I had attaching points for the outside sheeting as well as the interior. So we'll go around here and take a gander. So this is a look in from the window on the outside driver's side, and you can see the metal studding and so yeah, it's going to be definitely going to be heavier than your typical camper, but it is also narrower than your typical slide-in camper. And of course, like I was saying before, I'll be replacing the box with this unit, and then of course there'll be under boxes and stuff to just make it look nice and custom. So that's basically on this side. So there will be a compartment right down here on this area here, which is behind the refrigerator, that'll allow me to access my water pump, central vac system, inverter, that type of stuff there. I'm not a good cameraman, so I apologize if you get a little dizzy here. So we'll squeeze over through here and go in through the doorway. Actually, we'll look on the outside here. This is looking through the passenger side large window over the couch. You can see that the closet here from the outside looking in, so you can see. And then down there would be another outside access storage compartment. It was nice to be able to do a lot of these cabinets and that type of trim with the outside walls not done yet, so that way I could access, get my arms in from the outside. It just made things a lot easier. So this is walking through the doorway here. All of this sheeting here is 1/4 inch. And then on the exterior it'll either be Line-X or it will be fiberglass with a rubber roof. So I'm just kind of still trying to figure that part out there. Looking down, you'll be able to see a little better idea of the C-channel. And you can see where I cut and notched that C-channel to where it's not just butted, but it should be super strong the way it's laid in there, and just custom notched to where it's gives it the most strength that you can get out of it. So right here is just a ladder to get up into the bed area. We'll step in here. You can see that I just temporarily placed the overhead lighting. Once I get the outside sheeting on and the blown in or the expandable insulation in, then I'll be able to set all those lights. Over on this side here, that's the TV mount. So I made an arm that pivots off of this big mount here, and then this is a spring lock to where the TV will basically swing out like this to where you can watch it from the living area, or you pull that lock and it swings in that way, so that way you can watch it from bed. That'll be probably a 32-inch TV. So this area here, so I have an overhead cabinet here, and then this area here will be the DVD player, and then there'll be a 2-way radio as well as a CB radio, all of which have the weather channels. I like to just kind of keep in tune with what's going on out there, Mother Nature and all that good stuff. So this will be a large refrigerator here. This will be a marine grade refrigerator. I don't remember the name, and I'll update that when we get to that point. But so it's an all 12 volt refrigerator, because everything in this unit will either be run on 12 volt, the 110 items will be run through a 5,000 watt inverter, and the heat and water will all be diesel fuel operated, which is the reason why I put a 60 gallon tank on the truck, and then the water. We'll do another video probably on the Dodge later on. But so underneath the refrigerator here, which we are looking at that from the outside, underneath here, then I'll just have the port for the central vac. This is the pass through to get into the pickup. So this will all be I've got to make a trim ring that I can boot up to the cab, and then I'll cut the back of the cab, kind of like a motorhome or whatever, to where you can pass through. The 50 gallon freshwater tank will sit where the back seat used to sit in the pickup, and then my water lines will come up through here, and then the water pump will be underneath the refrigerator, and then it'll just plumb on through underneath the kitchen cabinets. So here we got a hammered copper sink, nice big deep sink, so if the wife wants to just wash her hair, then we can it'll accommodate, you know, big dishes for campfire dishes, but then also allow you to wash your hair. Then there'll be the bronze looking faucet behind that there. So up underneath here I got this tongue and groove, 1/4 inch tongue and groove pine all in, and got these lights set in. We're gonna probably pull these chrome bezels and paint them to try to match this copper sink. And then up the overhead cabinets up above the sink and countertop is all got the lining of it in, and it's all looking good there, as well as in there, and then above the couch as well. There's a fuse panel on both sides of the rig, and that's just because 99% of this rig will be 12 volts. So I didn't want to run through a converter, because I plan on it being a complete off-grid rig with hopefully right around 800 to 1,000 watts of solar, and then 4 deep cycle batteries. And so hopefully it'll be adequate enough to where I can just operate everything completely off-grid. So under here there will be, this top portion here will actually be a vent that I got to put in for where the stovetop, induction stovetop will be, and then below that will be just large drawers. There will be a divider here, so that way there will be a narrower, well, possibly I might just do large drawers all the way across there, and then just one swing cabinet door right here, and then that passes down through. If you can see this gold mark right here, that's actually where the understorage is. So through in this area here, then I'll have a cutout through the floor, which this will all be solid foam insulation, but I'll have a cutout, and then underneath that, so this, open up your kitchen cabinet here, and there'll be trash that goes down into that understorage, so that way I can access that trash from the outside, not drag it through the camper, and then it's not, you know, it's just another space saver to where you don't have that sitting, you know, in your camper taking up valuable storage space. So that'll be nice to have all that storage there on that side. This spot up here will be the microwave. This is the rock. This stuff is really cool. It's actually a peel and stick backsplash, but you'll have to get on there. I'll look up the name of it again. I don't remember what it was, but you'll have to get on their website if you're interested and see how they make this. It's actually real rock, but it's, you know, it's thin, and it's absolutely beautiful. So this whole backsplash through the kitchen area, trimmed around the window, and on this side here where the refrigerator is, that will all be this rock. It ought to look pretty sharp. So in the bathroom area down here on this side will be a Thetford cassette toilet, which is accessed on the outside, which in my opinion should be the way all off-road RVs are. It's just super simple, super lightweight, and so much easier to deal with. Probably do some sort of a medicine cabinet here for my wife, so that way she can do her hair and all that kind of good stuff. And then on this side there will be a shower on this side. So I'm a pretty good sized boy. I'm 220 pounds, and I made this doorway here narrow so that way I didn't have to actually make a door. We'll just make it to where, for taking a shower, a curtain slides across here to keep water from coming out into the living area, but this will all be open. So we're trying to find, we'd really like to use something similar to this as far as doing a rock style panels or walls in the bathroom, because that will be open all the time. And it's just me and her, 99.9% of the time as far as out camping and stuff like that. So, when you're married, sitting on the toilet doesn't tend to affect you at all, or your relationship. So, so that's kind of the bathroom idea there. You can see this Max fan. These are really cool. This is a fairly new design. They've been, the big fans have been around for a long time. They move 1,000 cubic feet of air a minute, and so they're really cool for great cross ventilation for off-road, off-grid camping, especially when you're in the mountains and stuff, and it's cooler temperatures out anyway. This has the built-in rain shield on it, so you can have this vent open and it could be raining out and you could still have your fans going and have it open. Or if you're off hiking or biking or whatever, and rain, you had a storm come in and you forgot to shut those vents, you don't have to worry about them driving that rain into your rig. So there will be 3 of those in here, one above the toilet, one here close to the stove, and then one right there close to the bed area. So we're thinking with these super large windows on each side that will both open, that we should be able to get some good cross ventilation going and be able to keep cool, because at this moment there won't be any air conditioning in here, but I've kind of made a little bit of a backup plan to where if I had to put one in, then I could. I would just prefer not to have one. The ceiling is all 2.5 inch thick, so there'd be 2.5 inch thick foam insulated ceiling, 3 inch thick insulated foam floor, not including your flooring, and then all the side walls are all 1.5 inch plus your sheeting, so they're probably closer to 2 inch. The insulation factor in here will definitely be adequate. It'll be a nice, efficient, energy efficient rig. So you can see up underneath here, it's more of the tongue and groove. Got these lights in here. Like I said, we'll also paint these. On the countertop, we haven't really decided 100% yet what we're gonna do, but we've got some pretty good ideas rolling around there. This is the back seat from the Dodge, and so the cool thing about it is you can get a lot of different custom leather options on it to recover it, which I used to do upholstery, so that's not a big deal at all. So that'll probably be like a chocolate brown with some tan stitching or something like that, just kind of tie the whole rig in. And then the seats, of course, in the pickup will match that as well. Underneath the couch, there will also be large drawers. Originally, I was going to make this to where, just like in the Dodge, you can flip this seat up, and this was just going to basically be like a big storage trunk. Once I got this seat in here, I realized that the angles aren't the same as what they are in a pickup. They're set up on a pretty steep angle to get them to fold up properly, so that is not going to work. Had I had known that, I would have made this base come out a little further. That way I had deeper drawers there, but that gives you some good kick space underneath there, so you're not kicking your feet against the front of the drawers and stuff as well. Underneath there you can see the wiring that's coming through, and that's run up through. There'll be a thermostat and a control unit up on this side, along with all the switches that I can access from bed, so that way if it's too hot, too cold, I don't have to jump out of bed and go mess with the thermostat. That is a diesel fired what we call S-bar D2 or D3. I don't remember which one. I'll have to look. But anyway, that'll be all mounted in that underneath compartment, so that way it can exhaust and intake properly without, and we won't even hardly even be able to hear it. So that will be super cool there on the truck. On the pickup, I also did put a 230 amp alternator on it, more of an ambulance size alternator, good high output. That way I've got my 60 gallons of diesel fuel, I've got the high output alternator, so if I had to, you know, I could run that Dodge to power everything in here, you know, in a case of emergency or whatever. But again, we looked at the closet from the outside, but here's another shot from the inside. So there'll be a door here. Of course, I don't have this all trimmed out yet. I started sanding on it and trying to clean it up, but it's not quite all done yet. And then we're thinking on all the cabinets, we'll probably make them fold up with like the little strong arms or whatever, so that way you have access to this whole area and not just, you know, not fighting the big doors hanging down on hinges, and then your hinges get weak and whatnot from, you know, bouncing down the road. So yeah, it's been coming along pretty good. I've worked pretty steady on this thing for about 3.5 months while work was slow, and like I said, it is going to be a little bit heavy. My truck is a 2001 Ram 2500 with the Cummins, with airbags. With my camper before, my gross weight was about 10.5. So all said and done, I'm hoping to be somewhere no more than around 14, and my suspension and tires should be able to still handle that. And I'm talking full of fuel, full of water, you know, clothes, food, everything ready to go. So that the Line-X product that we found, I mean, it's a fairly new product, I believe, but anyway, I want to just, the way I'm laying these sheets on here, you can see where I did my side sheet here first. Actually, I did the under sheet first, and then I did both my sides. I still got to trim all this out, or cut all this out, and then I did my front sheet. I wanted this to overlap that edge, so that way as you're getting, you know, the driving weather, hail, or even hitting a bird or whatever, you've got that extra strength of this sheet being complete and overlapping that seam. So that's the way this will be as well, and then the entire roof will overlap the sidewalls.